को नेचर स्वभाव है सबै सर्वज्ञानी सर्वव्यापी Asia and Rome and from Ireland.
मलाई विश्वास गर कि म पितामा छु, पिता ममा हुनुहुन्छ, नत्र भने त यी कामहरुकै खातिर विश्वास गर।
I'm Pastor Krishna David Pariyar. I'm from Nepal. I'm pastoring in New Life Church. I started the church in 2000. I have been working continually, church planting, working for the orphanage children for the last 20 years. In 2000, I started a small fellowship with our family. At the beginning, we have a very few people. At the same time, I was praying to God where I'm going to do the next and what is your plan in my life. One night when I was praying and I saw the dream was like many people climbing mountain and they were going up and coming down and many people and different colors and different sizes people, old and young and children, many crowd. Also they carry something on the back. Especially I saw their naked feet. No one have a shoes or sandal on their feet. I was praying to God, what is the meaning of this feet? I just woke up and God just showed me the book of Isaiah 52 verse 7, and it says how beautiful upon the mountain are the feet of those who bring a good news, peace and salvation. And I understand that the meaning of feet, that I must use my feet for the gospel. So I understood the meaning of this dream. Then next day, I prepared to call my ministry, Pit Ministry of Nepal. Then in 2006, when I went to England on a visit on my friend, I met one of my friend called Jennie, Waterman, and our husband Don. They have a link and connection with Nepali people. Our son-in-law is Nepali, and they were very much interested to see me with Seth, and we have a good introduction, good conversation. I returned back to Nepal and they prayed for me. In 2008, and she came to Nepal with Seth and had a long conversation. We prayed each other. She asked me about my vision, about missionary training center. We came to on the table and decided, let's start New Life Missionary Training Center. Actually, I was encouraged by Jennie Waterman to start this Bible school.
I'm called Jennie Waterman. I have been working for the Lord full-time really since 2004. Pastor Krishna happened to be traveling in England. I know this is God who does all this. He happened to come by the Bible school. We met, we prayed together, we exchanged our contact details. So that was my first encounter. But a few days before he came, without saying anything to me, Pastor Richard, who was running the Bible school, he just threw at me this brochure. Take a look at that. And it was the brochure of Pastor Krishna's ministry. He didn't say anything. And in the break time, I took it up and I looked at this brochure. I don't have it. Maybe I do. Yes, it was this one. It was this one. I sat on the bed looking at this brochure and my heart just, and I prayed a prayer and I said, Lord, if you want me to go, I'll go. And it was such an incredible thing why I was praying that, and how on earth would I be going there, and what would I be doing, and the whole thing. But it was one of those moments when you're just gripped. And then after that, Krishna invited me to go over there. It was fairly rapidly, it was the next year, to teach at a women's conference in his church. That was the first time I worked with Krishna alongside him, and he translates for me. And so I worked, and it was a joy to share with the women in his church. It was great. And Krishna shared so many things with me about what the Lord had done in his life and what he had on his heart, that basically he was to be a missionary in some form or other to the remote places in Nepal. He had this vision of starting a Bible school, and I just knew this was the time. And so before I left with Pabitra, his wife, we prayed together, and we all put out money. I didn't have hardly any money left, but the money I had left, and he put out money, and Pabitra from her part, and we just said, Lord, let this be a first seed for the first Bible school. All the structure had to be put in place. A place had to be rented. There was no building at the time. Every student that goes to the school does not pay anything. All their food, their lodging, their training, everything is for free. That was the idea of the school, because most of these people are extremely poor that come to these schools, and they could never pay for a thing like this. That was the idea about the school. And I went back home. 4 months later, Krishna, we were in touch, and so he says, Jennie, we're going to start the first Bible school. And it was the same year. And I thought, oh my Lord, I can't. And I felt so strongly I should go and help them. I felt so knitted to them. The Lord does this in us. He knits us to the people we're going to work with. And he says, would you please teach at the Bible school? He said, could you do a teaching slot within our school? There were going to be other teachers. He'd already planned that. And he gave me a rough idea. And I did. I came and I taught at the first school. And then, voila. And so I've had the privilege of teaching at all the schools and followed and encouraged Krishna, who's a wonderful man of God. Wonderful. We're about 8 or 9 teachers who do different things at the school, and we all have a different area of focus, I'd say, because I'm never there when the other teachers come. We do slots, like a week here. I do a longer slot, others do shorter. It's very varied, and Krishna obviously is involved in teaching as a teacher, so we're all doing different things.
Yeah, teachers mostly very experienced and graduated from different theological college. Some of the pastors also coming to teach there. We have international speakers, especially Jennie, Waterman has been teaching in our Bible school. Even last few years there was a COVID and she could not travel, but since 2008 she was traveling all the way from France to Nepal to teach every cycle about a month. Last few years she was not able to travel, but she was still teaching on a Zoom class. We
talk a lot in my class about the gifts of salvation. That's one gift. I call it the package we all get. What God's intention is and what it means to be born again. We go into that. The fact that our old nature constantly tries to come back over the new life that we have. We go into, I call really pillars of our faith, the core message of the gospel, how we're saved. And then we go into truths of the kingdom of heaven, the importance of humility, the importance of forgiveness from our hearts. What is love? True love, as the Bible teaches us. And that's very important to understand, because we're in a world where there's much false teaching about that. Pride, the dangers of pride. All these kinds of topics we go into as well. We've just done a school in I had, I think, 18 days with the students, full teaching days, which would be about 5 hours of teaching, obviously with breaks. And dear Pastor Krishna, he translates everything. Of course, some of the students do speak English, but nonetheless, everything is translated.
We are teaching from Genesis to Revelation, at least all the students know, holistic Bible. Especially we are focusing church planting, evangelism, and a very basic course. We give them more practical, how they can start a new fellowship, establish the new churches. And also I'm teaching my course, The Way of the Spirit, which is translated by myself while I was in Bible college in UK, in Kingdom Bible College. Since then, I have been using these books. More powerful teaching is tools teaching, with the using tools teaching, that is started by Jennie Waterman. She teaches us how to use the tools. Students have to demonstrate by themselves using the tools how to share the gospel, how God brings a salvation to humankind.
I'm teaching them how to use visual tools in order to illustrate the central gospel messages. The whole gospel message gets really deep in their hearts. And also they're going back to villages where many people are illiterate. And it's an added assistance as they're preaching the gospel to have these tools if they want to use them. I'm teaching really about the foundations of the faith. Over the years we've made a book. Krishna asked me to put down all my teachings in a book, and it actually has been so helpful. And then the students take it back with them to their remote villages. Basically, my course is about the foundations of the faith. Who is God? The holy God, a God who judges, his character, the fall and salvation, what happened, and the importance of us understanding that we are sinners and that we are in desperate need of a Savior.
Students come from our own missionary pastors and our churches, and also coming from other partnership churches. We just taking very limited students every year. We select according to their interest to sharing the gospel, interest to learning the Bible more. When we see students really hungry and really willing heart to serve the Lord, especially I'm selecting students not from the city area, also not very high educated students. We are always looking for the student who have a heart to serving the Lord. We are looking for students from the out of Kathmandu, very remote place. The tribal people really need to learn the Bible. When they go back there, they can share the gospel in their own language. They will understand their culture. So it is easy for them to share the gospel. In the city, there are so many theology college and seminary, training center, Bible school, short term, long term. The students just come here for their biblical education, but they are not going back to the practically to serve the Lord in the field. People don't like to go travel remote places, but we like to bring students from the remote places where there is a really need, because they don't have a chance to hear the gospel. We have about 57 missionaries from our missionary training center working as a missionary pastors in different parts of Nepal. Beside that, we have sister churches, 20 sister churches under the Fit Ministry of Nepal. Altogether 120 churches all over Nepal. Under the Fit Ministry of Nepal and missionary pastors, we are doing the evangelism to ask the people try to show them the right way. Very much lost in doing lots of corruption. We are trying to share them by gospel how God is changing our life. In Nepal, there is a caste system also. Because of the caste system, I was so much dominated from the Hindus or Brahmin community. Since my childhood, I was looking for a way out from the Hinduism. So at the same time, when I started reading the Bible, and I got so much peace and so much happy to get all the Bible verses that encouraging me day by day. I decided to receive the Lord as my personal Savior. So I got baptized, and since then I got also some persecution from my community because I was the first Christian in my family. And when I came to the Lord, there was much persecutions, and even some Brahmin people came to our home. They set a fire in my home, and my family were so much angry and upset with me. And also my father threatened me, because of you we got this kind of persecutions and threatened, so better to not to come home. So I didn't have a good connection, good relations with my family for about 3 years. That was my beginning of my Christian life.
It was when I was 36. I was searching. I hadn't been brought up in a Christian home, really. But as an adult, I sensed that there was a huge void in my life, and I began searching, and so I knocked on many doors. I went to Buddhist temples, I went to Hindu things, and then I got involved in various occult New Age practices, which I had no idea at the time, but there was a tangible spiritual power in that, and we have to know that. So that's really where I was at. I knew there was a God. I knew there was a God. It wasn't a power as such, in fact. I knew there was a God. I was looking for him in the wrong places, knocking on the wrong doors, as many people do. And God, in his grace and his mercy, he came. In the space of 24 hours, he gave me a dream and then a vision. And basically, what I call today, the veil was lifted. I could see. I could see. I understood that Jesus was real. And although I didn't understand all the ins and outs of the gospel as I do today, but I knew he was the ultimate truth. But this happened in one day. I was with no Christians, nothing. And it was just, literally mind-blowing. And I couldn't believe that this had happened to me. It was an incredible thing that happened to me, and it literally turned my life upside down. So basically that's what happened, and I never looked back, in spite of huge persecution.
Serving the Lord, there is a joy, that the peace, there is always the blessing. I would suggest to sharing the gospel, fellowship with the Lord is a wonderful thing.
I would encourage anyone who's searching, who senses there must be something more. Research Christianity. Ask God to reveal himself to you, and he will. And I'd say to anyone, if you want to follow Christ, you have to be prepared to lose your life. Pick up your cross and go forward.
Lord.